Hey guys, let's talk about the latest episode of Person of Interest. And again, this is sort of the aftermath of Carter's death. And Reese seems to be taking it really hard. He is distanced himself from the team. He's gone off on like some drunken stupors. And it really takes Fosco to meet up with him and get into like a serious brawl with him to sort of snap him out of the funk that he has been in. So this episode felt a little bit disjointed only because Reese was off doing his own thing, completely separate from the case of the week. And, whenever Reese is involved, it always seems to be a little bit better and more entertaining. But that being said, we had Finch and Shaw off trying to solve another case. And the computer finally gave them a new number. And it turns out that this guy used to work at the NSA. And in the flashbacks that we saw from Harold's flashbacks, he knew Harold back in the day. They both, I guess, worked at this company before, and they were both like these brainiacs. And they were both thinking that they would make this computer or this technology that would be able to prevent crimes from happening, acts of terrorism, all that, etc., etc. And of course, we all know that Finch has successfully made this machine. But now what we find out is that there is another machine out there. And this other man, he is sort of like in this hospital and he's being watched because he's dying. And all these Secret Service agents are following him and making sure that he's okay because people are trying to kill him. Or people are at least trying to find out information that he has about this computer that is very similar to what Finch's computer is like. And once they find out this information, I'm sure that they will just end him like they do everybody else. But what was very interesting in this episode was we found out that the main person, I guess like the head of the organization that Shaw used to work for, was pretending to be the NSA's, the man, his wife. So that was very interesting. We find out that Shaw, back in the day when she was working for this company and she didn't know who the head was. And I believe her name was Control or Command or something like that. And, back when Shaw was working for these people, she wanted to know who her boss was. And now she's finally come face to face with her, which was kind of cool. And so she's now having a standoff against Finch. And they're pointing, she's pointing a gun at him and this guy from the NSA. And she's basically like, whoever sells out each other first is the one who gets to live. And so all these guns are drawn. They're all standing in this room. Reese is somewhere, God knows where, with Fosco, and nowhere close to saving these three. So who knows? And that basically ends on this huge cliffhanger. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens next. I found that this episode was a little bit slow. But, we've come off a really good roller coaster ride with the last, say, 4 or 5 episodes of Person of Interest. A lot of them really entangled the machine and like the case of the week and that was happening with Finch's machine. So, a lot of stuff was intertwining. And so every plot felt really busy and fast paced because, the cops were involved in one thing and Finch and his team and Reese and all of them were all involved in another, and then they would intertwine and it was just like craziness. But now it just seems like it's moving a little bit slower. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying it's not as, I guess, like heart pounding and on the edge of your seat. But that being said, I still enjoyed this episode. It'll be very interesting to see what happens next and who is quick to sell out who and how this is all going to play out, because we all know that Shaw is a badass and she will fight anybody to the death. But right now she's got like 3 guns pointing at her and 1 is pointing at Finch. So I don't know how they're going to get out of this situation, but I can't wait to see what happens when the show returns in January, I assume. So I guess this was the mid-season finale, which was kind of weird that they aired this episode, I think, like 3 weeks later than they've aired the last one. So it was almost like it took a 3-week break and then came out with 1 episode and then it's gone again. So it's kind of weird. I don't know why they would do that in the scheduling, but it is what it is, and I still enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you guys thought. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, and like. I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye.